After such a significant week, we as the morning shows come to an end. Jasmine Crockett, Zora Mamani, and J.D. Vance are sort of acknowledging the issue that Donald Trump is unwilling to discuss. Let's start with Jasmine Crockett, who made this statement regarding Marjorie Taylor Greene's resignation.
Announcement from Congresswoman Green. What went through your mind when you first heard she was going to resign on January 5th?
You know what? Honestly, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week and you can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes, to not only be on the opposite side of him, but to have people like her who are constantly fanning the flames of hate. And imagine what those threats look like when you literally are someone like me. But at the end of the day, I know that I serve the people of Texas 30. And so my job isn't to be there and necessarily do whatever is going to make the president not be on my back, but instead is to focus on making sure that I can push forward with policies that are positive for Texas 30.
You know, I did mention this previously, and this past week I came to this realization. It may not have been the biggest revelation, but I did say it. And here is what I had to say about it on Instagram. You ought to follow me on Instagram, by the way. Our goal is to reach 300,000 Instagram followers. Please follow me on Instagram if you have one. Keith Edwards is here. However, this is what I had to say. One thing I noticed about Marjorie Taylor Greene's abrupt shift from supporting to opposing Trump is that for 5 years, she has been an adversary of the left. No matter how long she has been involved in politics.
Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, you need to get rid of your diaper and come out and be able to talk to the American citizens instead of us having to use a little flap.
Additionally, she has opposed Trump for around 5 days. She has never had protection while opposing the left, so why does she need bodyguards the moment she opposes Trump? Because the right, led by Donald Trump, is violent, while the left is not. Yes, I find it fascinating that she says, I'm out. As soon as she feels a little heat, I'm leaving. We're all over here in the interim. I frequently receive death threats. I don't even discuss them with you because at this point it's just background noise, which is really depressing. However, I frequently receive death threats on the internet, where individuals message me and say they want to fill my family with lead. Very good stuff. However, what we accomplish here is more significant than meaningless threats from crazy people who don't completely understand what's going on in this nation. And to be honest, I have no idea. I just don't know how to express it. If you can't withstand the heat for even a week, you're just a weak person. I'm not saying that what I was going through was anything like having the president on your back, but for a very long period, Marjorie Taylor Greene profited from the president's death ray aimed at her adversaries. She says I'm out as soon as it's on her. How did everyone else feel about that, in your opinion? Leaving Donnie, who was on Meet the Press in New York City. No. This is what they had to say.
Be the ones to do so.
In that press conference with President Trump, a reporter asked you whether you believe that President Trump is in fact a fascist, a word that you've used in the past. You were about to answer, then President Trump sort of jumped in and he said, quote, "That's okay, you can just say yes. It's easier than explaining it." So, Mr. Mayor-elect, just to be very clear, do you think that President Trump is a fascist?
And after President Trump said that, I said yes. And
so you do?
And that's something that I've said in the past. I say it today.
He said it. It was said by him. What? I find it annoying that you are squandering so much time. You're fixated on the idea that this significant person, who will oversee one of the world's largest cities, referred to Donald Trump as a fascist. He has previously stated it. He's expressing it. He stated it in front of Donald Trump in the Oval Office, and you still want him to repeat it on television when there are so many other things you could be asking him about. And it feels like I was employed in reality television. This is nothing more than reality television. What is the advantage of any of this, Israel?
I think what I appreciated about the conversation that I had with the president was that we were not shy about the places of disagreement, about the politics that has brought us to this moment. And we also wanted to focus on what it could look like to deliver on a shared analysis of an affordability crisis for New Yorkers.
You've also said in the past that President Trump has engaged in a, quote, attack on our democracy. You've called him a despot. Do you still believe President Trump is a threat to the democracy?
Everything that I've said in the past, I continue to believe. And that's the thing that I think is important in our politics, is that we don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table. Because I'm not coming into the Oval Office to make a point or make a stand. I'm coming in there to deliver for New Yorkers. And a few weeks ago, I was asked by a reporter 3 words to describe myself. I said, New York City. And that's what animated that conversation. How do we deliver for the people of New York City?
I think that some of your supporters would be curious to know. You say you stand by your past statements that, yes, he's a threat to the democracy. How do you square working with someone who you still think is a threat to the democracy?
I think working for the people of New York City demands that you work with everyone and anyone, and that you always look to find those areas of agreement while not overlooking the places of disagreement. And I think this was something that came up in our meeting. We spoke about immigration. We spoke about the fact that in New York City, we have sanctuary city policies that allow for the city to work with the federal government on around 170 serious crimes. The concern for so many New Yorkers comes about anything beyond that. And I spoke about the importance of us being able to protect New Yorkers, and some of the incidents that we see, they do not do that.
He's really talented. I would have been furious. However, I don't think it makes sense. What are your thoughts? I understand that I'm referring to Donald Trump as the president. He has authority. What will you do then? You claim that he poses a danger to democracy. I'm not collaborating with him. That was something that Bill de Blasio had attempted. How did that turn out? All right, not at all well. You should definitely try it this way, in my opinion. You have to admit that you don't like this guy. He's essentially saying, I don't whiff with this guy. Imagine, for example, that you dislike your boss. You still had to report to work. You still have to pay attention to them. You are still required to work for them. Although the President of the United States has a lot of power, he does not currently work directly for him. He may either make life more difficult or easier for New Yorkers. I would much rather have someone prepared to cooperate with Donald Trump, who believes that he is a challenge to democracy and recognizes the danger he poses to our nation. I think this sounds like a good scenario. J.D. Vance, on the other hand, is aware that Donald Trump poses a threat to democracy, but chooses to ignore it. Additionally, he has permitted this to occur because he has failed to notice it.
More work to do. And the thing that I'd ask for the American people is a little bit of patience. And as much progress as we've made, it's going to take a little bit of time for every American to feel that economic boom, which we really do believe is coming.
Despite Trump's, no, there won't be an economic boom. The millionaires are the only ones benefiting from the economic boom. You are aware of it. You are aware that you have referred to Donald Trump as the American Hitler. Nevertheless, you are attempting to squander our time. And here you are deceiving people about something they already know to be true, that is, that prices have increased. Additionally, I like that Zora Madani is demonstrating that it is possible to genuinely uphold your beliefs while still achieving your goals. We'll see what transpires since, nothing has changed significantly as of yet. However, I would much rather be a Zoramani and tell them all the shit that I believe in front of them, which I feel Donald Trump respected, than be J.D. Vance and alter your beliefs to be near power but never truly gain it, okay? Here's what Jennifer Wall really said regarding J.D. Vance.
Married to a woman of Indian descent.
Yes.
He has mixed race children.
Does.
So to all of the MAGA voters out there, if this man will not defend his wife and will not defend his kids, do you think he gives a crap about you or anything to do with you?
He doesn't. He only cares about himself. By the way, Usha Vance doesn't seem to have a ring these days. It's interesting, isn't it? Okay, thank you for viewing then. Please hit like if you enjoy this video. Please think about subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you shortly. Goodbye.